Astrology is psychology. Let me explain more. Hi, my name is Alana Kaivalya, founder of the Alchemical Astrology Certification Program. And one of the biggest questions I get from students is, how does astrology map our unconscious mind? Your unconscious is a treasure trove of attitudes, thoughts, energy, and we can actually read it by looking at your astrological chart. Let me take it back a little bit. When you were born, at the moment of your birth, the moment of your first breath, you come into accord with the energies of the universe. And these energies are then forever implanted in your unconscious. That's why astrologers can take a look at your chart, which is determined by your birth time, date, and place, and see what kind of energies prevail for you throughout your life. Now, don't worry, you still have free will. It's not set in stone, it's not fatalistic, it doesn't determine 100% of who you are. It determines what kind of energy you have within you that you might work with or against. This is your psychology. Your psychology is based on these energies. And as an astrologer, it is so helpful to be able to look at this blueprint and see the kind of person that we are working with. That starts a conversation. As an astrologer, we get to ask the person if they are working with the prevailing energies in their psyche or if they're trying to fight against them. Let me give you an example. The big three in astrology that we look at are your sun, your moon, and your rising sign. These are the most important elements of your astrological chart. Now, let me be clear. Every human being on the planet is a wild mix of all 12 signs. No one is just one sign. That would be too dull. Nope, we are all unique and special snowflakes. So we have to take a look at the whole chart to understand the person better. But if we were to take a quick glance, and for you to understand your own self better, we'll start with the big three. The sun sign is probably the one you know. When people ask you, what's your sign? And you answer, Aries, Aquarius, Sagittarius. What you're offering them is your sun sign. The position of the sun at your birth would have been in that sign, and that's your sun sign. This is your outward face to the world, the mask you present to the world. People that you are in an acquaintance with, that you work with, that you deal with every day, will often see that type of energy coming from you. But I hear from people a lot. They say, Alana, I am whatever sign is their sun sign, but I don't feel like that all the time. I don't feel like it reflects who I am. That's because there's a lot more going on within all of us. The next one we look at is the moon sign. This is so important. The moon determines how we emote. The quality, type, rhythm, cadence of our emotions is determined by our moon sign. Some moon signs will cause people to be much more emotional. Some moon signs will cause people to be a little more reserved. And all of that is actually okay. It's best if we know the moon sign, especially with the people we're in relationship with, whether it be intimate relationship, business partnership, friendship. To understand how someone else emotes is critically important so that we're not surprised when they do something or react in a way that doesn't feel real for us. There are at least 12 options of how people feel and express emotions. So knowing that can actually bring you closer in your relationships. The third element that's most important for us to look at as astrologers is the rising sign. It's also called the ascendant. Same thing, different terms. We're both rising or ascending. And what that is I like to call it our true self, our aspirational self. The sun sign is how we present ourselves to the world, but there's often a way that we know ourselves or that we like to think of ourselves. We like to think of ourselves maybe as more organized. We like to think of ourselves maybe as more strong, more grounded, more prosperous. And perhaps that is always not necessarily in alignment with what we show to the world. That's okay. Again, we are all a very complicated mix of all 12 signs. We are deep and we are complicated. So, the ascendant or your rising sign expresses your true self, what you want to align with, what you want to aspire to. And that might be a little bit in opposition with the sun sign or the moon sign, but that's what makes life interesting. That's what makes us interesting. And our ability to meld these together, to bring forth the highest and most positive aspects of all of that, that is our work as humans. That is the true psychological work of every one of us as a human being, to use the energies that we have within us to the best of our ability, to manifest our truest potential. That's where the psychological or the shadow work comes in. We may find as we look at our chart that we're not utilizing some of our energies in the best way. There are no good or bad signs. There is just high and low energies and how we're using them. If we happen to be expressing ourselves on a low side of a particular energy, the good news is we have that much energy to express on the high side. Becoming conscious of it, redirecting, is the free will work of every one of us as a human being. So if you're wondering what your big three are, if you're wondering what the psychological blueprint of your psyche looks like, I hope that you'll join me for either my astrological certification program or download some of my free cheat sheets, read the blogs that are all about astrology. I'm here to help you get started on your path to becoming an incredible astrologer, or at least learning more about your own psyche.